We are stuck in a cycle. Think of it this way. Some generations ago, and now, there is always a balance, a swinging back and forth between being happy and unhappy and suffering and feeling joy. Like generationally speaking, it seems like we are in this circle in which at some point there is happiness and complacence, and we are able to focus on the good stuff. We are able to love, and we are able to learn, we're able to grow. But then suffering comes, right? But for some reason, we can't help but lose ourselves in the suffering to the point in which it no longer matters to be happy. I'm not really sure how to say this. Like, think of it this way. Some generations ago, I would say that they were finally working on being happy and productive, and they were growing. And when they were going through that, at some point they became obsessed with being productive. Yes, I am going to say it. That's what happened with boomers, all right? They focused on producing. And when they focused on producing and suffering came, and they were like, you know what, I have to get through this. It is just too much. I can't just wallow in. They started building up shields and layers to be less sensitive to that suffering, because it was so much that they just needed to get through it. But we forgot about being happy again. And so the walls that they built and the habits that they had, they pretty much created a scenario where suffering is inflicted without caring for the heart and the soul and the emotions. And then us, the millennials, came in, and we remind them of trauma, and we remind our parents of they were not doing it intentionally, but they were inflicting suffering without protecting our hearts. And now we feel it's very important, and we go back to that moment in which maybe some generations back they were focusing on those other things. They were focusing on growth. They were focusing on love. They were focusing on learning. And I am happy that in my generation I am seeing that, and that we are going back to taking care of the self. We need to take care of the self over the production, because we are human beings. We are not computers, and we have a heart that needs a lot of things that don't need money. So we can't just focus on getting the money and pushing through things and getting what I have to get, because our hearts suffer, and it's not fair. We're wasting our lives suffering, waiting to the moment where we're going to enjoy with what we think it means to enjoy. I mean, if I'm not enjoying my way to money, how am I sure that I am going to enjoy the money itself? Well, I am not saying that we need to forget about the money, because again, no. It is the universal resource for everything. So it is important. But we have to find that balance. And I feel that generation on and off, we go through this cycle where production is more important, and then we don't care about the self, and then we worry about the self so much that we don't care about production anymore, and we just leave it on the side, and then comes suffering because we're not working on that side also. And I think that's what I mean with we are living a cycle. And I think it's about time we ask ourselves what we can do to break it. Please. There has to be a balance between being happy and being productive. Yes, we can have both. That is the kind of ambition that I am aiming for. But then we have to find that balance. We cannot neglect one or the other. So, anyway, what do we do about this?